Everyone, this is Jesse Becker with Winebow, and we're very happy to have Luca Marrone with us today, speaking to us from Brunello de. And Luca, you are the enologist of two great properties in Castelnuovo del Abate, Poggio di Sotto and Tenuta San Giorgio. So Luca, it's mid-October. I know you're very, very busy in the cellar at the moment. So thank you so much for taking a few minutes to speak with us today.
Well, it's a pleasure. Hi, everybody. Yes, we are just finishing the draining now because the fermentation are ending. We have gone with some more time with maceration with the skins in the tanks, and so now we are finishing the draining, so the separation of the wine from the skins, and the vintage has been very promising. So let's get the finger crossed.
That's what we're hearing, is that the 2020 vintage is looking really, really good so far.
Yeah, more promising than we expected, I had to say. So it's a kind of good surprise. Speaking about Poggio di Sotto and San Giorgio, first of all, we have to say that we are managing the wines of Poggio di Sotto since 2011, when Colle Massari took over the property, and in San Giorgio since 2016, when we made the same with this property. The common things are that they are neighboring, they are neighbors, in the sense that we are in the southeast area of Montalcino, in the Castelnuovo dell'Abate area, as you mentioned, and they are the consequence of each other in the location. Another common things is that the elevation of the vineyards are from 450 meters to 200 meters in the both situations, but in different kind of soils anyway. So this is the starting point. Then there are a philosophy that we inherited by the old owner and winemaker in Poggio di Sotto, and we are trying to maintain and enhance. And it is a kind of, first of all, organic viticulture, and the natural consequence of it, for our point of view, in the cellar, that is an artisan approach in winemaking. What does it mean? Okay, organic, it's a kind of respect of the nature of the vineyards, with limited use of substances. And in the cellar is more than the application of something that is dictated by the rules, but it's probably an approach of the behavior that we have with the grapes. For example, we ferment spontaneously. We could ferment with technological yeasts also in an organic wine, but we try to avoid it, because we believe in the authentic expression of the terroir that we have in Poggio di Sotto and also in San Giorgio, because one of the reasons of the purchase of San Giorgio has been the feeling, and that we can have a big expression of this terroir also in the wines of San Giorgio, definitely with different kinds of Sangiovese grapes, because if there is an essence of what is the terroir of Poggio di Sotto, is the more than 120 biotypes of Sangiovese that we had discovered with the University of Florence, and we have collected in a 1 hectare vineyard, so we can maintain this kind of biodiversity of the same anyway variety, replanting new vineyards and replacing the dead vines in the old vineyards, because our approach is not to dismiss the old vineyards, because otherwise we could lose this heritage of biodiversity, because in Montalcino today these old vineyards are very few. We are speaking of vineyards that are more than 40 years old. That seems young for the history of Brunello, but today it's quite a rarity in the Montalcino area. And so this is a kind of kaleidoscopic expression that we can have in the wines, thanks to this biodiversity that we have found. And this approach that I was telling about in the cellar, we believe is the most suitable to enhance, to make it wider as an expression of these different aroma that we can have from this Sangiovese at the different levels of altitude.
Mm-hmm.
So then there are another approach that is very important for us. We don't make any selection of Sangiovese for a Rosso or for a Brunello di Montalcino, because we believe in the low yields in the vineyards. We produce nearly 50% less than what we could produce by the law in the Montalcino area. So it means that all the grapes that arrive in the cellar are thought to have the integrity to be a Brunello. Okay, we don't think about Rosso. It's only a question of time and aging. So we forget the origin of the vineyards. We just taste blindly, and after nearly 2 years, we feel which casks are more ready to be bottled, and this is the Rosso. Mm-hmm. So I say 2 years, because usually the Rosso is made only after 1 year. But because of this origin of the grapes that are more complex, more structured, it's not enough 1 year of aging for this Sangiovese to evolve and to be ready for the bottle. So we need to make 2 years, and this is a kind of diversity for the Rosso in the of Poggio di Sotto in the area of Montalcino. And it's only a question of tasting. It's not a question of selection. So this idea of purity and integrity since the beginning can give you the kind of tough approach that we have with the quality as a philosophy in our production of Montalcino in Poggio di Sotto. And as we acquired San Giorgio, what we have done, we have just used this approach also with the vineyards and the grapes of San Giorgio. And we are feeling that the wines of San Giorgio, even though they are from other types of Sangiovese, anyway, they are starting to be the member of the same family in the sense of, if you want, the style of the wine.
And the real identity then of these two properties, it sounds like you're saying, Luca, that you believe in old vines, low yields, and at both properties, it's the big Botti cask. So
yes,
correct?
Yes,
mm-hmm.
Yes. In a sense of winemaking jargon, we could say that we are the traditional in the aging of the wines of the Brunello and the Rosso. We don't use the little barrels, the barrique, because we believe that the Sangiovese is in our family, we can say, have this elegance since the beginning, and this kind of essence that could be overwhelmed by the extraction of the important aroma and toasted flavor that you could have from a barrique. Sometimes the barrique can be the aim, not the tools of the wine. In our situation, we strongly believe that the cask is just a tool to help a kind of more complexity in the primary expression of the wine, that is from the grapes, and especially the old vines.
And it really sounds like you're trying to do everything you can to really express the identity, the terroir of your place. And could you tell us what is that in terms of the taste of the wines, how it differs from other parts of Montalcino?
Yeah, okay. First of all, I should say that the southeast area, or if we want the south area, actually, as we face south, this area is the warmer one. So definitely in the past, when we didn't have this kind of global warming trend in the climate, this area definitely was the best for the ripeness of the grapes. Today, I can say that the play has turned, but we are facing in some vintages hot climate. No? So we have adapted our approach to this, and that means that, for example, a big difference from the wine of Poggio di Sotto and San Giorgio, from their neighbors, but if you want, from all the production of Montalcino, is that I guess we are always the first to start the vintage, to start the harvest in each vintage, because we don't like to wait so much to have the kind of over ripeness and too much alcoholic, for example, grapes, and low acidity, because in this way we could banish this essence that we have in the grapes, because the philosophy of our production is to maintain this kind of more vertical posture than flat one. Okay, then and to have it, we need this kind of livelihood, this kind of crispy aroma that we can achieve only if we maintain this kind of early harvest, if you want, today. The low yield is a knife with two cuts, no? Because in one side you have this good concentration in the grapes because the quantity is lower, but on the other side you make a kind of speed up of the ripeness because the yield is lower. So and so this is another reason, because we are usually the first one to start the harvest. But this is essential. Sometimes it can be strange, but actually all the attitude that we have from the harvest to the type of fermentation that we make is always a kind of to be on the edge, in the sense, okay, I'm going to pick quite early, so I'm risking to have kind of, you want, green aroma, but at the same time, and it's huge important to taste the grapes. not the analysis. I mean, yes, the analysis are the tool, but we without tasting the skins and the pulp and feel that we are ready to feel this crispy, no, and we can go. I don't mind if the wine is only 12.5 of alcohol potential. I don't mind it. The flavor is fantastic. Let's pick it. And also in the cellar, then with this kind of wild fermentation, if you want, that is spontaneous, a result that usually we have is this slightly higher VA in the wine at the end of the aging, also because the aging is longer than the usual, also for the Brunello, because the Brunello usually makes 4 years of aging in the cask, while our peers usually are with 3 years, sometimes 2 of casks, 2 of bottle. So more time you stay in the cask, more risk you have to have an increase of VA. But this VA has begun a kind of fingerprint for our wine, not in a bad meaning, but in a meaning that is a carrier of the essence of this flavor that we have inside, and it helps to yes, to make it more approachable, no, in the tasting. Also the use of the air that we make during the fermentation. We use a lot of mixing, pumping over, no, in the jargon to facilitate the extraction of the aroma of the tannins and so on. You can do it with or without air, and we use a lot of air because in this way we dismiss since the beginning what we could lose in the future in the wine. So at the end, fermentation, you really have a kind of vertical essence of its. The old master winemaker of Poggio di Sotto, Mr. Giulio Gambelli, used to say, at the end of the aging, the Poggio di Sotto is crystallized in his life. No? In the sense that you taste it after 4 years, and it seems that it could have more than 4 year old. All for these procedures that it was treated, but then he remains in this condition for years, in the sense that he has nothing to lose at that moment. In San Giorgio, we are doing the same. So we have shifted, for example, the fermentation from the stainless steel tank that they used in the past to the casks, as in Poggio di Sotto. We have dismissed the barrique that they used in the past for the first year of aging for the Brunello, and we only use the cask. And so we are enhancing also the style of the wine. Definitely, again, the grapes have a different origin, so you have a different expression. More, if you want, more powerful in the Wolforte, the Brunello of San Giorgio, and if you compare it with the elegance of the Brunello Poggio di Sotto. But anyway, we have enhanced the harvest earlier, also in San Giorgio, because they really used to pick the grapes later than us. And so all these are making two wines different, but from the same family.
Luca, you're telling us all about your philosophy, and when I hear you speak about your philosophy in the vineyard and in the cellar, and then I think about 2016 vintage, it just seems like those are your philosophy and the vintage would make a great vintage for you at both properties, Poggio di Sotto and San Giorgio. Can you tell us about the 2016?
Yeah, actually 2016, I need to be clear about 2016, because in 2016 we bought San Giorgio at the end of the year, so they already have made had made the harvest. But anyway, we were on time to avoid, for example, the aging that in barrique and so on. So we were able to hold hand the wine of San Giorgio and um, age it in our philosophy. 16 has been a fantastic vintage. Probably, in my personal view, one of the best. I like a lot the 13. That is not a 5-star in Montalcino anyway, but I like so much the 13, and I resemble the 16 very similar to the 13, and the 16 is a 5 stars anyway. And also because we we went from the 15, we went out from the 15 that was a fantastic vintage also, but very tough because the climate was really hot. Also 16 was quite warm, but not so hot like 15. And then we we had the 17 after that was hotter than the 15. So the 16 is just in the middle, and was amazing for how it was classic in its evolution. And anyway, when you have a classic vintage, you have a lot to worry about because it means that to have a longer ripeness than usual, it means that you have had some concerns in the vineyards. I mean, in the climatic condition that we are living today, because we had a lot of rains in the spring that were quite problematic in the vineyards. But then in the summer, the climate was perfect. I mean, it was not so hot, and it had a very good differences of temperature between night and days, especially in August. That is really important for the Sangiovese, because when you have this change of the color of the berry, and the differentiation of temperature are very important to the metabolism of the berry to have a very complex aroma and smooth tannins. And so we started the 2nd of September. That could be early for a 16, but for us, as I said before, is perfect. And we finished the 15th of September to pick the historic vineyards. And when I say the historic vineyards, I mean the vineyard, the oldest one, that are the ones at 200 meters, where the soil is very clay. And so with a mirroring of the light, it uses to speed up also the ripeness. But when in 2015 we picked in the same days, we were forced, if you want, to make it, because otherwise we were concerned to lose this kind of livelihood, no, that I said before. In the 16, we picked just because the tasting of the berries was so fragrance, okay, that we said, okay, we have to go and pick it. We have no need to wait at all. And so the wines that are destined to Poggio di Sotto were picked in these 2 weeks. Then, just before rains at the middle of September, And then we had a kind of second time, like in a movie, no? uh, with with vineyards that today we still are using to make the Wolforte and the Ciampoleto, that is the Rosso di Montalcino from San Giorgio. Because in these vineyards, the production was a little higher, so they gained time to ripeness, and we make a kind of two pickings in the same vineyards. We pick on the same wine on the same vine. We pick a kind of 3 bunches to make a wine with more acidic temperament, no? And then after 10 days, averagely 10 days, we went and we made the second picking to have a more important structured wine to be blended with the first one. Because we were in this situation, never had before, to decide if we had to wait with this quantity of grapes in the vines, and so it was a kind of diversification of the risk, okay, if you want. But it was very smart from all the team, because otherwise, anyway, I work with with other guys that are very, very smart guys, and we go into the vineyards together and we taste together, and the decision is made together. This Federico Staderini is my mentor, and he used to come with me, and also Leonardo Berti is our cellar master and resident winemaker in Montalcino. So they gave us a more point of views to make this decision that was very, I had to say, very smart, because at the end we made this blend, and the wine was the wine of 16, complex with good structure, but what is more important than 16 is the elegance. Even though it's a kind of warm vintage, it has this classic behavior of an elegant vintage that it's always more difficult to find in these last years, because the trend is with this hot, and it's not easy to manage the picking.
2016, it sounds exactly like the vertical style that you want, with yes, the aroma, the acidity. It sounds like a great vintage for you at Poggio de Sotto and Tenuta San Giorgio. Luca Marrone, it's October, you're busy in the cellar, and we really appreciate it that you took the time to speak with us today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Jesse. I hope I apologize for my English, because I need to train it more. But I hope it was helpful to say something about.
Very helpful, and it was perfect, Luca. And we can't wait to come see you in Brunello di Montalcino as soon as possible. Hopefully in 2021.
Yeah. Yes, we hope definitely that, because it means a different kind of things. If you can come, it means a lot for everybody, for the wines, and not only for the wines. And we know what we are speaking about.
Thanks, Luca. Ciao.
Ciao.